Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. I want to get into a few articles really quick. Federal Reserve Board announces an expansion of the scope and duration of the Municipal Liquidity Facility, the MLF. End of the article, the Federal Reserve Board on Monday announced an expansion of the scope and duration of the MLF and the facility, which was announced on April 9 as part of an initiative to provide up to $2.3 trillion USD in loans to support U.S. households, businesses, and communities. It will offer up to $500 billion in lending to states and municipalities to help manage cash flow stresses caused by the issue at hand. The facility, as revised, will purchase up to $500 billion of short-term notes issued by U.S. states, including D.C., and U.S. counties with a population of at least 500,000 residents, and U.S. cities with a population of at least 250,000 residents. The new population thresholds allow substantially more entities to borrow directly from the MLF than the initial plan announced on April 9. The facility continues to provide for states, cities, and counties to use the proceeds of notes purchased by the MLF to purchase similar notes issued by or otherwise to assist other political subdivisions and governmental entities. The expansion announced today also allows participation in the facility by certain multi-state entities. To be eligible for the facility, notes must mature no later than 36 months from the date of issuance, an increase from the previously announced 24-month maximum term. In addition, among other rating requirements, eligible issuers must have had an investment-grade rating as of April 8, 2020, from at least two major nationally recognized statistical rating organizations. The termination date for the facility has been extended to December 31st, 2020. In order to provide eligible issuers more time and flexibility, the Federal Reserve is also considering expanding the MLF to allow a limited number of governmental entities that issue bonds backed by their own revenue to participate directly in the MLF as eligible issuers. Any decision to include any such additional eligible issuers could be announced publicly at a future date. The Federal Reserve will continue to closely monitor conditions in primary and secondary markets for municipal securities and will evaluate whether additional measures are needed to support the flow of credit and liquidity to state and local governments. The MLF is established under Section 133 of the Federal Reserve Act with approval of the Treasury Secretary. The Treasury will provide $35 billion USD of credit protection to the Federal Reserve for the facility using funds appropriated by the Issue at Hand Aid and Relief and Economic Security Act. The Federal Reserve remains committed to using its full range of tools to support the flow of credit to households, businesses, and communities to counter the economic impact of the issue at hand and promote a swift recovery once disruptions are abated. To me, when I see this, the liquidity crisis is facing the globe at this moment, and now they're just adding to this, extending this well beyond. I mean, think back. We just had a previous stimulus. Now this is a second follow-up stimulus, or maybe even a third. I can't even keep up anymore. There's so much going on. And before this happened, there was already a liquidity issue, a liquidity crisis. And no matter what you're invested in, XRP, for a reason, is labeled ODL, on-demand liquidity. It is designed for this, to move volumes in the banking, wholesale, enterprise, institutional level, and be the best bridge asset, period, and provide all of these banks and governments and financial institutions on-demand liquidity. So when I see these things, I know a lot of people are frustrated at the overspending or the crash of the banks, the economy, the central banks, the Federal Reserve, the Secretary or the U.S. Treasury, and on and on and on. Without continuing, the thought behind that is, when I see this as an investor, it's horrible for the planet, but there will be a bump no matter what, regardless. But as an investor, you have that cushion of the thing that's actually going to have the potential to fix and correct this and then make everything much better in the long run. So as an investor, this is something you're kind of looking for to happen to make the value of your investment more profitable and more ready for use. So I want to get into another issue here, another article here, the Stellar Lumens social dominance volume rise and post decoupling with Bitcoin and XRP. I think a lot of people are thrown off by this, but we've been discussing this since we started this channel about 6 months ago, that we find this everywhere, and it's very exciting to see. And right into the article with Stellar Lumens XLM has made significant progress in terms of its price in April. In fact, the coin has been one of the market's leaders with its upward price actions and its subsequent surges. Following this, there has been a significant uptick in terms of social dominance and social volume, figures that have continued to surge over the month. The same was noted by crypto analytics platform Sentiment, with the platform tweeting, "Stellar has continued its phenomenal month of April, with social dominance and social volume continuing to surge as the crowd figures out whether its run can continue. It's up another 91.1% over the past 24 hours and 34.5% over the past 30 days. I think 34.5% is pretty significant for any investment, and those who are invested in Stellar's Lumens XLM, I believe you're pretty excited at this point. Interestingly, XLM has shown signs of decoupling with Bitcoin around the third week of April. XLM showed strong signs by both on-chain and social volume standards, suggesting that its individual rallies might continue irrespective of Bitcoin's steady price action. Looking at the numbers, the year-to-date YTD gains made by Bitcoin stood at 7.77%, while that of Stellar was recorded at 55.1%. And now those are great gains. It gets better. Notably, it's not just with Bitcoin that Stellar has been decoupling its signs, but with respect to its price, historically, XLM has followed its big brother XRP's footsteps. However, it appeared to have decoupled from XRP's price action lately, as the gauge between the coins' price trends had expanded, with XLM leading the way. YTD gains for XRP stood at 3.62%, very low when compared to XLM, and additionally, Bitcoin's gains since 2020 low on 13th of March were found to be 88.3%, while XRP's were found to be 73.9%. And that's still pretty amazing as well. Leading the game was XLM, however, which was up by a whopping 138.6% since the same day. XLM had managed to recover all of its losses incurred during Black Thursday. Further, Stellar has emerged to become the #1 topic on a few emerging trends and indices due to a spike in conversations about it across multiple social media platforms. And if you follow this channel, you know we do discuss that. If you don't, please hit the like and subscribe and click that notification bell. You'll be notified upon our next video. And I thank you guys who are supporting of this channel to remind me for that. Besides, the quarterly report by the Stellar Development Foundation has shown strong network growth in Q1 of 2020. The figures recorded a rising trend with respect to transaction volume as well as daily operations on the Stellar network. It also noted that existing players are making greater use of the network than the one compared to the last quarter. To bolster up the use of Stellar, the SDF had previously announced its first investment from the enterprise fund in DSTOQ, a Liechtenstein-based fintech company, in February. At the time of writing, XLM was trading at 0.068 within a 24-hour trading volume of $431.9 million. And as we move out of here, guys, I want to leave you with a final thought. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. This is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Much love to all of you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.